3D printing technology is increasingly accessible, and there's something on our best 3D printers list for everyone. Whether you're a beginner 3D artist, a hobbyist, or a business owner looking for an enterprise-quality 3D printer for commercial purposes, we've got something for you. In this video, we are going to take a look at the best 3D printers you can buy. Links to all products mentioned in the video are available in the description. If you have other products you'd like us to review, please tell us in the comments below or visit 9to5printers.com. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Form Labs Form 3. The removable resin tank is where the liquid resin sits during printing. The tank's base features a thin, clear plastic layer that the printing laser shines through. To create each layer of the print, the build platform is lowered down to just over this base layer, trapping a thin layer of liquid resin. The UV laser then zaps the liquid, turning it into solid resin, which sticks to the build platform. The printer then lifts the platform, taking the hardened resin with it. The platform lowers again, trapping another layer of liquid resin, and the process repeats. Thus, the Form 3 creates the print layer by layer, with layers height ranging from 0.1 mm down to 0.025 mm. One of the innovations here is the flexible plastic on the bottom of the layer, which means that the Form 3 can use less force in pulling the hardened layers up. Form Labs calls this low-force stereolithography and claims that it makes printing more reliable. Form Labs isn't the first printer maker to use this technique, but it definitely seems to be effective. We had no failed prints in our Form 3 tests, which is a first for a 3D printer. The Form 3 laser and optics are found under the resin tank, located in a sealed package called the Light Processing Unit, LPU. This, Form Labs claims, makes the printer more reliable as dust can't get into to block the path of the laser. It also makes the LPU easier to replace, as the whole unit can be easily removed and replaced by the user. 2. PO Poly Phenom. The PO Poly Phenom uses a combination of an LCD screen and UV LEDs rather than the UV laser used in the smaller PO Poly MoAI and the Form 3. In the Phenom, the UV light comes from a grid of LEDs under the print bed which shines through the LED screen. Where the screen is opaque, the light is blocked and the layer of resin between the build plate and the print bed remains liquid. Where the screen is see-through, the UV light passes through and the resin is solidified. Once the resin is solid and sticks to the build plate, the plate is raised, liquid resin rushes in, and the process repeats, building the print layer by layer. Although the PO Poly Phenom design and construction is generally excellent, we noticed a few quirks. For one, there is no Wi-Fi in the 3D printer, despite the on-screen display advertising it as a feature. PO Poly told us that this is because the firmware used on the printer supports Wi-Fi and that the company was not able to remove it. Instead, you have to use wired Ether. Although the PO Poly Phenom design and construction is generally excellent, we noticed a few quirks. For one, there is no Wi-Fi in the 3D printer, despite the on-screen display advertising it as a feature. PO Poly told us that this is because the firmware used on the printer supports Wi-Fi and that the company was not able to remove it. Instead, you have to use wired Ethernet to connect to the PO Poly Phenom. 1. Ultimaker 3. The Ultimaker 3 has the same white plastic design as the Ultimaker 2, with built-in LED lights that give it a science fiction look. The standard model that we looked at measures about 13.5 by 15 by 15.5 inches, so it will take up a fair chunk of your desk space. The build volume that this 3D printer offers is impressive for the size though. It can print objects up to 8.5 by 8.5 by 7.9 inches, a total of 570 cubic inches. That's a touch bigger than the 555 cubic inches that the similarly priced MakerBot Replicator Plus offers. But both are big enough for most print jobs. Most people will never want to print something that large, as it will take a long time. The Ultimaker 3 extended model is taller than the standard one, measuring 19.3 inches high. This allows it to increase the printing area to 8.5 by 8.5 by 11 inches, though for a total of 794 by 75 cubic inches. The major innovation in the Ultimaker 3 is a redesigned print head, which includes two swappable extruders. This means the Ultimaker 3 can print from two reels of filament at once, so you can print in two colors or with two different materials. The best use of this is the water-soluble PVA filament that Ultimaker offers, which can be used to print supports. When printing with a single extruder and material, you have to manually remove the supports after printing. With PVA filament, you can print the projector. With PVA filament, you can print the object in one material and the support in PVA, and then remove the supports with water. And that's the end of that chapter. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. It really grinds my gears.